longer. Welcome to the Segmented Podcast, the show where we bring you 3 segments, each episode ranging from discussion to improv. How are you doing, Benjamin?
Woo! I'm doing pretty great. This morning, my toaster actually toasted all 4 pieces of toast instead of fusing them back into a single loaf of bread. I'm pretty hyped because that means I got to have 4 pieces of toast instead of a large chunk of bread, which is what I've been eating for breakfast for the last month.
Nice.
How
I
about you?
applaud thee.
How have you been?
I have been doing well because my cows, who, as I've explained, they have recently learned how to herd the pigs. They actually have learned to herd all of my animals, so I basically don't have to do anything.
Ooh. Well, okay, that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. You. Yeah, but it's like, it seems like a good thing now, but I think it may be a plan or part of their plan for greater dominance of the entire Earth.
I was gonna say, I think once they herd everything and they take over the means of production, then you're gonna become useless.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's a problem with it.
I may have to turn them into burgers eventually, somewhat soon.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what I gotta do. So, yeah. Anyway, what segments are we doing today, Ben?
Today, we're doing I Don't Know Man, which is a segment. Then we're doing Ace, which is a fun segment where we get to change up a story that another person is saying.
Yeah, boy.
And then we're going to do Segway, everyone's favorite segmented segment. It's a improv, goof and gaff filled episode. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be
better. That's the whole reason we're doing this.
You better have a good time, or I'm not going to pay you.
Yes, because I'm getting paid.
That's right.
It's not like you're paying me.
No. Mm-mm. No. I really spun that one on myself, didn't I? Whoops. Segment 1. I don't know, man. This is a rather absurd segment. I don't know if you'd consider it improv, but it's not really discussion either. Basically, we present totally ridiculous questions that don't have a right or wrong answer, and the other person is tasked with the job of coming up with an answer that would somehow be logical to that absurd question. It makes a lot more sense once we get into it. So, Noah, I have a question for you.
Oh, okay. I would love to hear it.
Last weekend, I was watching the Yalpool game, and I was wondering, why did the Luftwinds score into their own goal during the last Yalpool game? Because that was confusing because there was the other team. I don't remember what they were, but the Luftwinds, they scored into their own goal.
They did. Now, this is one detail that you neglected to mention, but they did actually win that game. So they did score into their own goal, but they did end up winning by a quite large margin. Now, so this is a classic Yalpool technique where in order to get more points, you confuse the other team. And so if you actually watch the playback, they're all playing and they're taking their snorkels and they're like throwing them around like they usually do. But there's that one point where the Luftwinds started running the other way. And it just confused the heck out of the rest of the team. And then they just went in and they threw their tadpoles into the goal. And that actually gave the other team points, but they were confused for the whole time because they were very unpredictable. So that's what the Luftwinds were doing. It's actually a strategy that's been used by a lot of teams, such as the Fork Knobs and also the Tittlebiddles. Those teams have used that technique in the past in order to reach certain and similar results. So it is just a classic technique. I think the first time it was done was by Jerry McElroy in 1984.
Yeah, I've heard of that. That's true.
Yeah. So that was the first time that it happened, and I'm surprised that people of this sport, I'm just surprised that people haven't caught on to it. But yeah, no. Obviously, the other team, which I don't remember their name either, but I think that they are just naive. So
yeah,
I definitely think it was a good strategy, though.
Yeah,
so
it's very interesting tactic. I mean, I could see like one player doing it, but the fact that like the team was like in on it and they were like, we're gonna do the confusion play or whatever it's called. Yeah, that was pretty gutsy.
Yeah, they actually call it the Biddle Wish.
The Biddle Wish.
The Biddle Wish. Yeah, that's usually what it's known as because it was originally done by Tittlebiddle. So yeah, I think So I think that is a excellent question, and I'm looking forward to the future. for what that
all right.
holds.
Great.
So,
I as well.
indeed. So, Ben, I know that you are well versed in the realm of dream interpretation. So, I've been having this recurring dream, and I'm just trying to wonder, what does it actually mean? So,
right. Okay.
Why do I keep having a recurring dream where a bunch of ballerinas keep getting abducted by coyotes?
Okay. So I assume you understand Sigmund Freud, his research into dream analysis and how it has to do with like your subconscious, and a lot of that is it comes from different parts of your life that you might not be paying a lot of attention to, but it gets fed into your subconscious. And so, there's falling dreams, there's the plunging dreams, there's the eyes popping out of your head dreams. But there's something very strange about the ballerinas getting abducted by coyote dreams, which is actually what they're called. There's an acronym, but I can't think of it off the top of my head because it's a long word. But the ballerinas getting abducted by coyotes dream actually refers directly to the ballerinas getting abducted by coyotes that you're seeing every day when you walk to work. The reason it's in your subconscious is because the mind dwarves have actually put a shield onto the coyotes, essentially. So the coyotes have actually been abducting ballerinas all over the place. And technically you see them all of the time. But the mind dwarves have like a little shield on it that essentially you don't consciously see it, but it's not strong enough for your subconscious to not pick up. So you have been quite literally watching ballerinas getting abducted by coyotes probably 3 to 6 times a day.
Wow.
You just aren't processing it. To you, you just see, oh, hey, there's a shape over there moving over there. Oh, hey, look, now there's a tree over there. You just kind of forget about it. But then in
I
your
just
dreams,
thought that was the wind, but that makes a lot more sense.
See, there you go. It's not really to be alarmed by, unless you have a problem with mind dwarves controlling what you see and what you don't see. But yeah, no, that's what it means. It's quite literal in its interpretation. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you very much. I will definitely come to you if I have any other odd dreams.
Anytime.
Appreciated.
All right, Noah. I know it's been a few years, but I know when you first went to school is to be is it cartographer? Yeah, cartographer. Whatever the people that makes the maps.
The maps, cartographer. Yep, that's very true. Yep.
So I was on vacation 2 or 3 years ago, and I noticed this, and I didn't think of it until the other day when I saw a picture of it. And so I wanted to ask you about it. So what makes the Pyrenees Mountains appear bigger when you're farther away, but smaller when you get closer? Because like experience tells me that things should work the other way, but that's not how the Pyrenees Mountains work. Like it's weird. So is it how does that work?
What's interesting is if you look at the Pyrenees Mountains, they do look like a pair of knees, which is why they're called the Pyrenees Mountains. True story.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and if you notice, if you look at your own knees now, I want everyone at home to do this, unless you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. If you look at your knees, they look kind of big. But if you get closer, if you bring them closer to your face or bring your face closer to them, they actually appear to get smaller.
What?
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's just a phenomenon that is very interesting, and it's found all over the place. If you can also do this with hot dogs, because if you've ever seen those Instagram pictures that's like hot dog or knees.
Right.
So like hot dogs, if you put the two together and do that, it will be the same effect. Also, it's kind of the similar way in when you flip binoculars backwards and they make things smaller and all that. Yeah. It kind of does the same thing. However, it does that with our eyes, but specifically with things that look like knees. And I can't exactly explain how that works because it's another one of those crazy phenomenons that even scientists don't know and are still looking into.
Quick question though. Quick question. Okay, so if us humans, if we see our knees that way, where they get smaller as we get closer, do we see that in all animals' knees, or does it have to look like a human knee? Like maybe we'd see it.
They mainly have to look like human knees. Okay. We have observed that in human-like animals such as platypus or the salmon. Their knees do actually do the weird magnification thing.
That makes sense.
Also, some insects like the praying mantis.
They do kind of look like my knees, actually, now that I think of it.
So that is something that we have observed. Just keep an eye out for knees. So that's why the Pyrenees Mountains does that. But
awesome.
Yeah, that's a very good question, by the way.
Thank you. I'm glad I could use your expertise.
Absolutely. So, Ben, I know that you have a past as a pet control officer. And
Yeah,
so,
I did.
how should I go about getting the cloud of purple parrots out of my house?
Hold on, you said purple parrots?
Yes, the cloud of purple parrots.
What? Okay, hold on. You must live a lot farther north than I thought you did.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Okay.
basically as north as they come.
Okay, so the weird thing is people come to me all the time, like with the green parrots, the orange parrots, whatever. Sometimes they just fly in, they want some fruit, or even sometimes you'll get yellow parrots just trying to annoy you because they're like parakeets. They're social creatures. They want to annoy you. Ugh, the purple parrots are a little different. The problem with purple ferrets, well, there's two things essentially: is they're blind and they feed off of human flesh.
That is something that I've observed from them keeping crashing into the walls that aren't windows, and also them eating my siblings.
See, here's the problem with getting them out. With other parrots, you can bring out a flamethrower, you can bring out like a large like animal that might eat them, and they'll be scared away or whatever. The problem with the purple parrots is that they can't see anything that you can try to scare them away with. Okay, this doesn't sound as good as an option, but unfortunately it is the best way. If you do have any siblings, or specifically younger people, the best way is to lure them out. Since they can't see, there's not really anything you can scare them with. But since they are very akin smellers as far as birds go,
especially to human flesh.
You should be able to lead them away using children. You might have to go a little slow because they bump into a lot of things.
Yes.
And if there's like one or two stragglers, you'll probably just have to take them out yourself. It's not really worth trying to move them. But the majority of them should leave if you can lure them away with a small child. Or I mean, teens aren't ideal, but they can work if the specific cloud is really, really hungry.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's the only way that I know of, at least from my time, for purple parrots in large numbers.
Yeah. That's helpful. I will enlist some people from Craigslist, specifically ones, or maybe just our neighbors. They would probably be more than willing to help their next people.
A lot cheaper, yeah.
Actually, you can't hear them now because my microphone volume is down, but I'm going to turn my microphone volume up a little bit, and you can maybe hear them.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. They're ferocious.
Yeah.
Is there like more than like a dozen?
There's like 27 last time I counted.
Wow. That's a
I'm
big
gonna turn
cloud.
my volume down a bit. Yeah, so there's 27 last time I counted. However, as you do know, they do breed very, very fast.
They do.
When they first came in to our house, there was about 3 of them, and that was last week. So there's a very high chance that there will be more purple parrots by the time we get out of this recording session. So.
Well, yeah. I hope you can deal with that promptly afterwards.
So do I. I am in the situation, and it's not great. So anyway, enough about my personal problems.
Yeah. Something a little more lighthearted. Well, maybe it's not lighthearted, but at least it's more disconnected from our lives and from something that's close to us. Just kind of like a vague here and there sort of political question. I know we all have different views, but just for me, I've been asking myself a lot. Of all the worst hats that the Countess wore last year, which one do you think is offensive enough to have her excommunicated? Because there's been a lot of talk about having the Countess excommunicated because of her inappropriate hat wearing habits and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I feel like there has to be one that's just really done her in. And for, I don't know, I just thought you would have a good opinion on which one that might have been.
I think the hat that looks both like a rabbit and a duck, that was based off of the optical illusion that's very famous, which I will leave in the show notes if you've never seen it. Yeah. But that had everyone talking for very good reason, and they weren't saying nice things, because I think that one is just vile and rude. She was just trying to make a ruckus, and I don't think that's appropriate.
Right. I remember people were left and right. They're like, is it a rabbit? Is there a duck? And people were just throwing things. It was a bad time. Yeah.
But I think that is one of them. A second one, I think she wore it last April or something. But the one where it looked bigger than it actually was. So like when she wore it, it was really big, but when she took it off, it was like really tiny, you know? That hat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For the same reason, it just tripped everyone up, and I don't think that's acceptable. But also,
Yeah, no, it's totally
the one that had just a bunch of fireworks shooting out of it, which that one was an odd and bold choice. But
yeah, quite literally. I mean, it started fires socially. It started fires literally, like in places there were fires being started. Yeah, no, I mean bold to be sure, but I don't know if it's a great image, for her being the countess and whatnot.
Now, those were all really bad, and I think they're heinous, and I think they should never ever be brought up again. And I'm sorry I even mentioned them, but I feel like for such a touchy subject, I feel like I had to just get it out there.
Yeah.
But in regards to which hat I think that she had worn will actually get her excommunicated, the fedora.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I had hoped.
I don't think we need to even elaborate on that, because I think everyone listening, I don't even want to, because that was
bad. Wow. Yeah, I should have.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, yeah. Thanks. Definitely cleared that up for me.
Absolutely. Segmented podcast where we tell you what to think. Listen to us. So my final question for you, Ben, is very simple.
Very simple.
How did the dragons get into the fruit fridge?
So it was never a problem before. So, cause originally there was like the meat fridge, and then there was like the greens fridge, and we called it the greens fridge, but it had fruits and vegetables in it. But now there's just the fruit fridge, and the dragons, they just love the fruit. They just can't get away from it. I mean, I don't blame them. It's good fruit. That's why I have a fruit fridge. But I assume you're speaking directly about the fruit fridge, the one that sits in the middle of the city. Yeah. I think what happened was, I think there was a specific dragon that had some connections to they're not really the mafia, but they're kind of the people that are in control of the trading of fruits throughout the town, which has become a rather large market, especially since the fruits and veggies have split off into separate branches. Apparently,
I've heard they're called the Aluma Fruity.
They are. Strange name. Not really sure what it means or where it comes from. But the dragon, there was a specific dragon that had a contact with someone within the Fruminati. Actually knew someone in the government who had the key to the fruit fridge. So they were actually able to send it down the line through a series of half promises and guarantees. And the dragons literally just got the key, and they got in, and they just ate all of the fruit. It was.
I mean, that's terrible, but I think that's
messy.
Pretty impressive, because as we all know, the fruit fridge for any given city, the key to that fruit fridge is only owned by the governor of the city that's 3 cities west of the city where the fruit fridge is located.
I think that might actually be why the whole like mafia group started, was because it was so hard to contact, because they needed a group that could encompass all of the surrounding cities.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. No, it's certainly an impressive feat. I can't argue with you there. But
I'm not gonna say they weren't smart.
No. Gotta give them credit for what they did. They did get into the fruit fridge, and that is what they intended to do. So
Indeed. Segment 2, ACE, which is actually an acronym, which stands for Advance, Color, Emotion. And basically what we're going to do, one person is going to give a monologue, and as they're doing that, the other person is going to either say advance, color, or emotion while they're telling the story. And if they say advance, it means they need to advance the story forward. It means skip forward a little bit or a lot in time and just advance in time or advance the story, make something dramatic happen. Color means add more detail. Get very specific with words, explain the action that they're doing in vivid verbiage. And then emotion is just give it more emotion or give it an emotion. So you could be telling a story and it would be sad, so I say emotion, and you just make it really sad, and then I say emotion, you make it even more sad, and then I say emotion, and then you just change it to being angry or something. So you just give it more emotion, whether that be like sadness, and then more sadness, or sadness, and then something completely different. So yes, it's just fun. And so I'm going to give Ben a prompt, and he doesn't know where it's going to come from. Pick a number, Ben, between 1 and 3.
3.
1, 2, 3. Now pick a number between 1 and 3 again.
3.
Okay, pick a number between 1 and 6.
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This is from my YouTube subscription feed.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
And so you are going to tell a story based on the title of one of Jack's Film's latest videos, known as "I'm an Apology Video for Halloween." So, Ben,
yes,
you can just start whenever you'd like.
So the other day I was thinking to myself, what is the scariest thing that you can find on the internet? And I was thinking, there's creepypasta, there's horror games, there's specific like games that you can play online that actually suck you into the computer, and inside of there, there's like these tall men. And they're like all like black, and like, no, I don't mean like that, but I mean like they're literally totally black.
Color.
And like they have white eyes, and like the black like sort of fizzles and like but whips on the edges like flame where there's like life to it, but it's soft. And then when they come towards you, then they reach their arms out and then they grab you, and then you scream, and then you jump out of your computer and you're back in your seat, and you realize that it was just a terrible jump scare in a really, really well-made internet VR horror game. And so then you continue on to discover what it is that the scariest thing is on the internet, and there it is. It's so scary you can't even believe it. It's an apology video. It's got a thumbnail. There's no graphics on the thumbnail. It's just a picture of a girl or guy. In this specific case, it's a girl. And you click on the video, and the video is just called "I'm Sorry." And in the video, it's 16 minutes long. Holy cow! And then you watch it, and then they're crying, and then you skip and you scrub a little farther, and then they're saying sorry, and then you skip a little farther, and then they're talking about how they're gonna do better and how they're gonna post more, and you're so afraid. You're so afraid because how could this happen? How could someone do this? Why would you waste a slot on your channel for a video that's just like just nothing? Like it's literally just you yelling just like about how sorry you are about nothing. Like literally nothing. And then you scroll down and you realize that their whole entire channel is just them saying sorry about videos that they never even posted to begin with.
Color.
Why? And at the bottom, there's one video. And it's called My First Video.
What's funny is that what I really liked is how the channel was just all "I'm sorry" videos. And then there's the one that was like my first video. And I was like, perfect. Where's my prompt?
So I'm going to try to do the same thing. Pick a number between 1 and 7.
7.
1, 2, 3, 7. All right. Now pick a video between 1 and 3.
3.
1, 2, 3. Pick a video between 1 and 6.
3.
Your video is called Business Call in the Bathroom Stall. It's not a joke. You selected it with those numbers.
Business call in the bathroom stall. All right. Okay, so there's this one time when I needed to make a business call, but unfortunately everywhere in the airport, I'm in the airport, was very loud. So what I did was I went into the bathroom stall to make a business call, and it was pristine. Everything was clean. The walls were neatly polished and white, and the taps were clean as heck. And I went to the bathroom stall. And I was really angry because it wasn't as clean. It was slightly dirtier, and I was upset. And I kicked the toilet, and I was like, this is a stupid toilet, and I'm mad. I'm so angry. And so I get on the phone, and I dial bloop, 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 and I call, and I say, "Hey, Tony, this is your boss. I'm making a business call in this stupid bathroom stall.
Emotion.
And that was me. And so I was like, yo, Tony, you gotta help me out here. I'm angry as heck. I'm in the bathroom, and I'm trying to get the stuff to New York, and I can't do anything, and my voice is real raspy. And then Tony's all like, oh, sir, it's okay. I will get on that right now. And so basically what ended up happening was I got to Tony, and he made some connections, and he got to Miguel, and Miguel ended up calling me back, and he was like, hello, my name is Miguel. And I was like, yo, Miguel, I'm in this bathroom stall making a business call to you. What do you got for me? And he says, you gotta meet at the rendezvous at 4:20. And I was like, okay, fine. And so I was just devastated because I was in the bathroom stall, and the bathroom stall was not as clean as it should have been, and there was just a little bit of urine on the ground, and I was upset because I just stepped in it, and I had nice shoes, and I was making a business call in the bathroom stall, and so I just went out and I slammed the door, and I washed my hands because it was disgusting, and then I walked out into the airport, and then I'm on the plane going to New York to meet up with Miguel and Tony, right? And so we get there. I get there at 3:30, which is almost in time. At 3:30, and I get in, and I'm waiting for my bag, which on this belt that is black with a shiny but also rough chrome look on it, and I'm waiting for my bag, and I'm just ticked off. Because I'm looking at my clock now. It's 3:59. I have 21 minutes to get to the rendezvous point, and I'm just fed up. So what I end up doing is, I don't wait for my bag, I jump on the conveyor belt myself, and I run into the backstage of the whole thing. I locate my bag, and then I grab it.
Advance.
Now it's 4:20. I'm at the rendezvous point. I see Tony coming up the highway, and I'm like, hey, is that Tony? And I was like, yes, it is Tony. So what ended up happening was, Tony got out. I said, hey, Tony, here's the stuff. And he says, all right. And then he and Miguel get out of the thing, out of the car, grab the stuff, they take it, and then, unfortunately, what ends up happening is
emotion.
And then I get shot in the leg.
No.
And I'm just angry. Now I'm just upset, but I'm also kind of like sad, you know? So I'm just sitting there with a bleeding out leg. I call up the 911, and then I realized that's a bad idea, so I hung out immediately, and then I called my associate, Marco, and he comes and picks me up. And that was the time where I met Miguel and Tony.
Wow. What a tale.
What a tale.
Of woe and anger. A lot of anger, actually, in a bathroom
There's
stall.
a lot of anger. I'm sorry. Like, my throat got... There's a point at which, like, as soon as I got my bag, I just had to stop because my voice was getting... Yeah.
I love the dialogue with Tony. It's classic Tony dialogue is like the only way to describe it.
Hey, Tony.
Tony, I need the thing.
Tony, get the thing.
Tony, get the thing now.
Tony, redirect me to Miguel, Tony. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I'm at the rendezvous at 4:20. Yep. So that was my story.
Wonderful.
True story, actually.
That was a great story. I liked it. Very interesting setting. Segment 3, Segway. In this segment, we attempt to seamlessly segue between various unrelated topics. What are those unrelated topics? Well, they are given to us by a random Wikipedia article generator that we have. It's not really a generator. It's just a link.
It's literally just, yeah, it's a link.
It just sends us to a random Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
Most of them are not just totally unrelated, but very specific people or places.
Yep.
So it's a challenge for us to attempt to segue between these different, ridiculous, but often boring subjects that we find via Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. So, Ben, with all this talk about things, I've been wanting to talk to you about something for a very long time, and that is known as Wattenschand, which is a department store that operated in Lancaster, Pennsylvania from 1979 to 1992. Now, the reason that I wanted to mention this is because it was... It started in 1978, which is a great year, for one.
Oh,
and
okay.
It marked a very big part of American history.
Wow.
And there was actually One, there was.
Hold on. I
yeah?
have to stop you
What?
right there. So, no, who are you telling this to again?
You, Ben.
Me?
Yeah.
What was my name again?
Ben.
Ben. Oh, that reminds me of a good old friend of mine named Ben Ford. He was a South African heavyweight boxer. Really great guy. We used to get along. We used to like be together, and people would call us.
Wait a second. Is he a boxer? You said?
Yeah, he a heavyweight boxer.
Speaking of boxing, there's this thing known as the National Football League, and there's a guy who played in it known as Adam Lingner. And the reason that it's very similar to boxing is because they're both physical sports, right? So basically,
hold on. Adam Lingner.
Yeah.
Adam Lingner. You know what? He reminds me of this other guy I knew really well. John Adams. Yeah, he was from history. History. He was he was a historic guy. Sorry, a bit of a tangent here. Just reminded me of a place I was the other day, the Bridgeport Downtown South Historic District, which is, of course, on the southern coast of Bridgeport, Connecticut.
The coast. Okay,
yes,
you know what?
The coast. Yeah.
Whenever I think about coasts, I'm sorry, I've just got to hijack this real quick.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
When I think of coasts, I think of water, and when I think of water, I think of the ocean. When I think of the ocean, I think of sea snails. And so I always think, first thing I think of when I think of sea snails, I think of Impagus continua, which is a species of sea snail, and it's a marine gastropod mollusk in the family of
I gotta
Pterodragidae.
stop you right there. Snails. You were talking about snails. I used to have a little
Absolutely.
pet snail when I was little, and he lost his shell, so instead I gave him a can instead of an actual snail shell, because that's the best that I had when I was little. Can reminds me of another good friend of mine, Mourinho Duncan. A retired second baseman and shortstop who played for several Major League Baseball teams during his 12-year career. Really a great guy, Mariano Duncan. Really a great guy. He was great at both the second baseman and the shortstop part. He played for the Cincinnati Reds, the Philadelphia Phillies, the New York Yankees, the Toronto Blue Jays, and even, to end off his career, the Yomiuri Giants, which he only played one season for in 1998, but I think it was a good way to end his career before he went into retirement. He's specifically known for his time with the Los Angeles Dodgers, though, which was his first baseball group. Obviously in Los Angeles back in, I think it was 1982.
1982. Speaking of the 1980s, there was this thing that was actually invented in the 1968. Known as the 4000 series integrated circuits. And so basically these were used, they're a form of integrated circuit, of course, and it was introduced in 1968. And I always think of that whenever I think of
1968.
1968
is actually my favorite year. Whose favorite year? My favorite year. That's right. My name's Ben. Reminds me of a great guy I know named Ben Mandelson, who's an English world musician. Also a manager.
Oh, wait, a world musician? Whenever I think about the world in general, I think about World War II. And whenever I think about World War II, I think of the German general Kurt von Mühlen, which is had allegiance to Nazi Germany, and he was serviced in the army in
Nazi Germany. That's the color red. You know what the color red reminds me of? The Red Hot Chili Peppers. Great band. They're not actually Red Hot Chili Peppers, but that's what they're called. Did you know one time they performed in a cute little park called Bela Vista Park, which is in Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal? Really nice park. There's a few trees, not really much else, but one of the best parks that I've ever been to in Portugal. Some other people that went there, Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney.
You know, whenever I think about Portugal, I think about, oh man, there's people that live in Portugal, right? Including children. And so, and whenever I think about children, I think about the Marsha Skypuk, who is a Ukrainian-Canadian children's writer who lives in Brantford, Ontario. Her famous works known as Silver Threads from 1996,
Classic.
The Best Gifts, The Hunger, Enough, Hope's War, Nobody's Child, Aaron's
Nobody's
Choice.
Child.
Nobody's
You know
Child.
what? Nobody's Child was actually the name of a kid that I knew back when I lived in a rural area, kind of not unlike the Benzigen rural district, which is inside of Kenzenbad, Benzigen, which is just a great country, a village in the middle of Iran.
Wait, Iran? Yeah. Speaking of Iran, whenever I think about Iran, I think about places, and whenever I think about places, I think of French Guiana, and then whenever I think of that, I think of a very specific type of moth known as the Repnoa, which is found in the family of Megalophagidae.
Megalophagidae? You know what? That's actually a species I found flying around in my church one time when I was cleaning out my church. Kind of like the really cool church that I used to go to called the Church of Saints Esbuis and Polion Vincanosi. Great church. It's a Roman Catholic church in Vincanosi, Croatia. It's just right between the two other countries around Croatia. It's a dedication to Saints Euispis and Polion. It was severely damaged during...
Whenever I think about churches, I think about community that goes with it. Whenever I think about communities, I think about an unincorporated community.
Exactly.
And specifically one known as McGregor in North Dakota. So McGregor is an unincorporated community in northeastern Williams County, North Dakota. And it actually lies along North Dakota Highway 40 northeast, and then northeast of the city of Wilson.
Did you say North Dakota?
I did indeed.
Okay, so North Dakota is like a state that's like kind of in the middle, but then like towards the north, but not at the very north edge, which reminds me of a certain country in South Africa, Peru. Actually, not Peru, Brazil. They're kind of in the same area, kind of in the north middle area of South Africa. And in there's some languages that are spoken. Sometimes they're referred to as the Pano-Tana-Cananan languages. Really great, just group of languages. Well, it's a family of languages, actually.
Whenever I think about languages, I think about social constructs. And when I think about social constructs, I always think about religion. And whenever I think about religion, I think about repentance. And repentance, which is the activity of reviewing one's actions and feeling contrition or regret for past wrongs. And I think it's just important to know. And there's all sorts of it in Aramaic, and there's also one in Judaism, Christianity, Lutheran. There's all sorts of...
Yeah, actually, hold on. That reminds me of a certain... Like the repentance. It's not really a system, but it reminds me of a certain system. The host system, which is a system near and dear to me, just as near as the repentance system, which is the host system, which is any networked computer that provides services.
Oh, networks.
To other
Whenever I think about networks, I think about networks of buses, and low floor bus.
Wow. Holy cow.
That was done. That was much better than
that is how you're supposed to play Segway.
That is how you're supposed to play Segway. That's how we did it the first time.
No regard to what anyone says.
Yeah,
it doesn't even have to make
sense.
Just like... You know what? Iran, that reminds me of places. You know another place? I do. What is this place that I will totally listen to as I vigorously search for my next Segway?
I just had to, like you said, host, and I just wanted to just end it with low floor bus. That's
a good one. That was a lot better. I was looking for something that was a good ender. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, I think this is like the best test in like the human cognitive ability to associate.
Yes,
like,
you're right.
We think through like associations, and like I feel like when I'm doing this, I'm just saying out loud all of the ridiculous associations that our brains make. Just like that thing, it's kind of like that, right? Yeah, close. That is the end of our show. We hope you did enjoy it. What did we learn today, Noah?
We learned that your name is Ben, and so are two other people from Wikipedia.
That is true. We also learned that you don't want to make business calls from inside of a bathroom stall because despite the alliteration, it causes a lot of anger, even if the bathroom stall is pretty clean.
We also learned that the scariest thing on the internet is, in fact, an apology video.
We also found out that the worst kind of parrots that you can have in your house are the purple variety. Very scary. They will eat your children.
Yeah, I gotta get them out of my house, like, right after this.
Please do. You can find Noah on Twitter at Nomich_ and Ben at Tendo. That's me. Email the podcast at segmented.fm@gmail.com and support the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/segmentedfm, where you can get extra goodies. You can talk to the host, mainly just Noah, on live chat, and occasionally you can listen to the recording sessions live. But you have to be online on Discord. If you do it, then you can.
Yeah.
But the best way you can support the podcast is by leaving a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to it. You can leave a review in the YouTube comments. It's not really a review, but I mean,
it
you're
also
still
doesn't help at all.
It doesn't, but I mean, it make me feel nice inside.
Yeah.
But also share it with your friends. Honestly,
Yes.
just give it a share. If other people listen to it, the more people listen to it, the more people listen to it.
Very
it
true.
helps us out, and it helps you
Really
out
does.
because you get
Yes, it
more
does.
podcasts if that's what you want.
Yep.
With that, should
We
stop
this.
outro.
Yes.
No.
Should we stop this outro? Yes. Anyway, let's get right into the show. Let's get right into the news, because I'm Killer Keemstar, and I'm not a dead man.
It's so dead. It's so dead. He is rolling in his non-existent grave because he's still alive.
He's alive, but, like, the meme is dead. But it's not. It's not. It's totally lit, McDog.
Sorry.
Whenever I think about children, not what I meant to say. Whenever I think about Portugal, I think about, oh man, there's people that live in Portugal, right? Including children. This, like, Wikipedia article for low-floor buses is pretty long.
Are they contained?
Well, yeah, they're doing rather well.
Good.